So now we will show our experience with Joe before lunch. So we have a bunch of videos to show. So we will keep those videos running while we eat. So that's the trick. So this is how we gain time rather than watching them like I'm feeling more and more hungry desperately. So it's I will start first with a short because you guys did everything very easy for me. I will have to only mention, as Francis said, as Farid said. So yeah, this is the basic idea of where this is coming from. What is happening now, it's coming from a view, which is how to make sense of the world and of the problems this world have and make a more sustainable living for the whole world, for the whole planet, or beyond if we can, but so far the world, let's say. So the typical idea, as Francis explained, is like thinking of networks, and then you have this simple model: industry makes society, and society makes money, and money makes industry, and that's how we can run. But it's actually, as we saw, it's not just one-to-one, it's many-to-many relationships. So it's very contextual, how things will relate and produce and change. And we don't only have those three things, we have a political world, we have to think of also well-being of ourselves, so psychological dimensions, biodiversity and so on. And the whole idea is how can we make a sort of a cyclic understanding. And basically, there is no one answer. There is no one way to look at it. Maybe cybernetics will be like a meta way to look at it, but from a scientific perspective, we need to go to fragmentation. We need to have different perspectives on different things. So in order to integrate those, we will need interdisciplinarity. So that's in one slide, how we get from interdisciplinarity to sustainability to interdisciplinarity. And also, you know, passing by modeling in a way, mathematical modeling, I mean. So then a quick view on complex adaptive systems that Francis described before this morning, but I make a sort of very simple roadmap of 4 features, because it's going to be complex if we have sufficiently many entities. We have to have many things. Actually, ideally, they have to be many, not only in quantity, but also in kind, many different kinds of things. So many kinds of things, and they make it many in total. And they have to interact normally in a complex adaptive system. They will interact in many ways as well. So not just one type of interaction for each kind of thing. There could be many types of interactions. And these interactions can be actually generally contextual. So the interaction will be in one way under a given circumstance, and in another way in another circumstance, as we can be, you know, like colleagues here now, and then we can be billiard competitors in a bar, or we can be, you know, dancing at the same place, and then we'll be dancing together, or playing something, or studying together, or finding each other in a supermarket. It's a different interaction. So basically, in a complex adaptive system, we have this contextuality that implies non-trivial dependencies on how things will interact, and that's what leads basically complexity. But then, because we have many things interacting in many ways, and these things might form pathways where our actions end up hitting us back through a propagation of how what we did will come back to us, and then we had this feedback. And Francis also gave a whole explanation of what feedback is. But what feedback brings in the end is a notion of regulation. So things will, because of feedback, things will end up happening in a particular way. Negative feedback means things will stabilize or co-regulate, and positive feedback means things will exploit together. So there is a, even if they mean very different things in dynamical terms, there is a sense of stabilization, of regulation of the interaction through the feedback. So when that happens, and we have many feedback loops, because it's a complex system, many feedback loops happening, we will have this idea that all the feedbacks will start coupling together and co-regulate each other. And that's when we see the self-organization of a complex adaptive system. And that means that all these complex interactions and so on will end up forming some sort of coherent total of all these feedback loops co-regulated. And that's what we observe. And we say, here we have a system. And we call it a system because it's stable enough to be observed as such. If it will be a chaotic, random thing, we will never call it a system. So it has to be somehow stable enough so it's observable by a scientific lens or by a epistemological lens and be understood as something. But interestingly, that something, in turn, it's another system, as Francis explained as well. So then we have this idea of emergence. This self-organized system, it's a new thing on its own. And many of those things can be emerging or happening, and they will interact, forming a new level of system. And this is basically the game, the conceptual game of understanding complex adaptive systems. The typical example is an ecosystem or a ecological community. And we can look at this in a very easy example. So the contextuality could be available resources. Some species will be competitors in one resource scheme and maybe cooperators in another resource scheme. The typical feedback is the prey-predator that was also shown with rabbits and grass. The self-organization is like what happens when this community is invaded, for example, by a new species. There will be an adaptation process. The feedback loops will co-regulate again in the presence of this, so there is self-organization. And the emergent system out of all that is obviously the ecological community. I leave a video here because I have an introduction to interdisciplinary complex adaptive systems. It's a little course. Let's say I want to turn it into a micro credential here at the VUB, but for the moment it's just a YouTube list of videos. So now, because my area is mostly more mathematical, more modeling inspired, we have that so far with the advent of computation, we can simulate basically everything we want. So we can make some set of rules, run in the computer sufficiently the dynamics, and then we will get what we want, statistical analysis, blah, blah, blah. But those ways in which we build the simulations do not get us closer to a better conceptual understanding of the complex system. So what that means is that for each different model, we take a mangrove or a coral reef or a political system, we will have to create our own conceptualization based on the model to understand the features like resilience, for example. Resilience we made an article on that, and like there are more than 100 definitions, technical definitions more than 30, and they go and use different vocabularies, depend on different variables. And some of them are for political systems or ecological systems or economical systems. So there is no one integrated view on how to think about this. And basically, all the reasons that Francis gave before, and also that were supported by Farid, that we have to look at these many-to-many interactions as a default, and these many-to-many interactions are transformative. So many things get together to turn into many other things. And with that action, let's say basic action or relational ontology, which is inspired in chemistry, we will bring a sort of organic view to complex adaptive systems, because chemical reaction networks or biochemistry is the substrate of all life. So that's the language in which all what we see, all these interesting things happen. So why don't we just borrow this language to express our understanding of complex adaptive systems and sustainability? So the idea is that we have developed this idea in a few scientific articles, some of mine, some with Francis, and there has been a collective of people, of course, involved. And these are three, just as an example, in journals like Systems, Complexity, Foundations of Science. So this is a very kind of a technical and abstract thing, but we want to turn it into a real thing, like in the sense of what Farid is doing. I mean, at least I think that's the thing to do. And in parallel, I was contacted by Professor Brian Hernandez from University of Philippines, Diliman. Oh, I like your articles. I like this idea. Can you please explain? Blah, blah, blah. And could you come to this conference in the Philippines to give a seminar or something? So I say the rest comes in pictures, because I have some pictures to show the story. And I didn't have enough time to put it into slides, so I'm just going to show the pictures. I hope people can see this. So first of all, that was That's a beautiful place in the Philippines called Boracay. It's beautiful dream place. They rented this nice resort. We did a beautiful conference and talking about this, and it was particularly very nice because many students were coming to the conference, and many came then after to talk to me like, oh, I like this, how can I get involved, and so on. And this is actually me receiving, because in Philippines it's very ceremonious. You go, you give a workshop, you give a seminar, and they will give you a certificate of appreciation, a picture. Everybody will clap when you get the thing, and you get like a chocolate or something. You don't just go and give your talk. You will have a moment of appreciation. That's and I these are part of the organization of the conference. So yeah, it's very nice. They organize things really well. And then when I came back to Brussels, I discovered this Veloz agency, which is establishing cooperation. And I said, okay, this is the way. I have to find a way. And we applied to a grant called Small Grade Initiatives or Small Grade Projects or something like that. And Small Grade Project called. And with Francis as the promoter, because it's a SAP, well, that's a technicality, but Francis supported this. And the project was selected for funding, meaning that I could go to the Philippines to give a special workshop. So that the name of the project is Promoting Systems Thinking Through Chemical Organization Theory Seminars and Workshops in Belgium and the Philippines. And actually, now we are doing the workshop in Belgium. So we are accomplishing what we promised. This is good. And so this was the first sustainability workshop we did in the Philippines, in the University of Philippines, the Diliman, in the Institute of Mathematics. They organized, thanks to Joe. I have to, Joe, please, everyone, because really, he looks very shy, but he did a lot, and all the work, basically. Without him, I could not have done this. And I'm very happy you are here, Joe. So this is a collection, a group of professors, young professors, assistant professors in another university in the Philippines that we paid for their trip to come and accommodation so they could participate in this. And you can see in the back the networks and the staff, because I gave a workshop for real. I work with whiteboard, blackboard, and well, it's a mathematics institute. You get the nice blackboards still. And then this is the people, the students, some of them, not all of them, but some of them getting their diploma. And on the back, you can see already a model they developed. So the workshop was like, I teach the theory, we discuss how to make models, and then one full day to work out a particular instance of this modeling. Then I went to another beautiful island, Coron, and I think I should show this. Well, yeah, I will show this video because it's too beautiful. So I hope I don't get any surprise now. You did it was epic surprise. This is the mathematical Society Philippines. I think this will get us to the video. No, sorry. Well, the thing is that they did such a beautiful video that I think we cannot miss. This is the one. Yeah. So this is the experience. This is for real. It's how it happened. That's the hotel. No, that's the airport. You get the Coron. That's the island. Going to the resort. That's the resort. These are all like the people from the conference. Then they have this dinner night. I didn't attend, but nice. And that's the workshop. So you got like that's me. You got more like really like 100 attendants, big students and professors. So many speakers. That's a renowned. That's another Spanish guy. So people from all over the Philippines coming. That's a professor from Korea, really interesting guy. Yeah. So, well, you know what this is, but. And then we did, I think, some, good eating, good discussions. So, these are the workshops. We had like on top of it, I did an extra workshop in that conference. More of the same. That's Brian, the guy that contacted me first. Brian. And that's me. Ecology, modeling, computational modeling. This is my, the guys doing my modeling. And this is a poster session. They have to speak about their poster in like in 1-2 minutes. And we give an award to the best speakers, to the best posters. We use the money from the project to pay the best speakers. She's one of the awarded. So these were like, I don't know, like a 60 posters or something. That's the poster say. And this is the group picture. And this is the trip. We did a trip on a boat. Very beautiful island, coral reefs, mangroves, all you can imagine. So yeah, as I said, they are very good at production. So they did this like 10 minutes after the conference ended. They had that done. So this was the workshop that inspired was shown in the video. And this is, of course, the reception. I get a new diploma, a new picture. And then I was invited at the Marine Science Institute, which is the place where Joe is working, to give this keynote talk. It was very nice, 50 years of the Institute and so on. And I also happened to discover this other grant, which is called Short Initiatives. And I was very lucky to get the support of the whole College of Science. So these are all the faculty from the College of Science, like physics, mathematics, computer science, chemistry, biology, marine science, and technology. So everyone came to the room to talk to me about how can we continue this cooperation. So it was fantastic. And that's in the back, you can see the WOS agency, because I show the grant, how do we apply and so on. Deadline is tomorrow. I should be working on the application now, but here we are. So everything has to be done this way sometimes. So we are finishing up this, and this is Joe coming to Chile, welcome party. Then he came because I went there, I gave the workshops, and now Joe is coming here to give back, you know. So this is what he's actually going to do now. This is Joeriggo Reyes, really the star of this project, without any doubt, always work, like, you know, like the invisible hand, I will call, I think, because I'm more outspoken and so on, but he's the one really doing the mastermind behind this. So you will now, Joe will show the workshop, more content about the workshop, and we will play all the videos that were recorded from the models that these guys did while we eat. So we can chat and also watch the videos while Joe continues with the talk. So thanks, Joe, you're coming now. Your talk, yes, it's here, Talks, Reyes. Okay. Okay, close this, and this is Joe. Okay, screen share it. Let's stop as the share. Okay, so I have to reshare again. Yeah. Okay. It looks like it's screen sharing.
All right, so good afternoon. Before your lunch, I'm gonna take some of your time. So thanks for having me here, Dr. Veloz and everyone. Dr. Tomas was saying that after the workshops in IBOM last year, students were stalking him. I was one of those students who were stalking him. So yeah, and here we are. So the outcomes and impacts of the project. I'm gonna talk a bit about the Philippines first to put it in contextuality of complexity and sustainability, and then some more details about the project. So this is our Department of Tourism official logo right now that reflects different aspects from biodiversity. You can see here, you have culture, you have food, and everything. So it's all so nice in the Philippines, as you saw. It's it's more fun in the Philippines, as the previous logo was telling. And indeed, there's a lot of things to do. Lots of cultural diversity, lots of sites, beaches, and everything. And behind that context is that we're growing population. We're not so much of a rich country. So this is how much people actually usually spend per day versus this is the poverty line. So we're not too far from majority of the people are able to subsist, but there are a lot of also people who are not able to cross beyond poverty. So, and then there's this other context that we're also the center of marine biodiversity in the world, because we're at the Coral Triangle, and this paper by Carpenter and Springer came out some time ago that measured the amount of fish species there, and it's primarily because of the presence of the coral reefs and just the connectivity between the species in this area. And this is infographic from a guy is found flickr. So this figures may not be that accurate, but this would be, I would say, accurate. So again, at the background of that, we have our share of global CO2 emissions, because my PhD is in climate change. The bottom, so it's very far away. And but even if we're not that contributing too much to the CO2 emissions or greenhouse gases that are causing climate change, we are actually bearing the brunt of the effects of climate change, right? For example, here on the left, you can see that from 1856 to 2006, we're even without extensive or aggravated changes in climate warming. You can see here that we're actually bearing most of the category 4 and 5 storms. So that's the 150-year history of storms in the Pacific. And this is the 2024 Pacific hurricane season, wherein we had within a span of, say, I think a month or two, we had 4 category 4, category 5 hurricanes crossing the Philippines. So that's a major challenge for us. And talking about sustainability development goals, we're kind of far from achieving our goals. Now, shifting to the University of the Philippines, Diliman, we're 8 universities in total. University UP is one of the 8 constituent campuses. We have 25-degree granted units within the UP Diliman, and these numbers of graduate and undergraduate students. And I'm just gonna show this in passing because Tomas has already shown you. There's this numerical modeling applications group at the Institute of Mathematics that Dr. Brian has initiated a contact with Tomas. And again, the activities that we had in the Philippines while Tomas was there. But let me focus on this impact, because what's interesting is that, for example, of course, there's direct learning from the participants of the workshops, but there's also this amplifying effect wherein this mathematical community in the Philippines is very closely tightly knit. And one example that I can give is the three, Dr. Veloz has given an example that there are three professors that were participants in the workshops. And those three professors can easily propagate this new knowledge to the students. And there's also this community of the Mathematical Society of the Philippines, the organizer for the IWOMS 2024 and 2025. Most of the faculty and scientists there are also senior scientists that have connections with, for example, policymakers and government agencies. So having this kind of introduction into the key people or faculty that have connections to key people would have very great amplifying effects to the sustainability development goals of the Philippines, and even just addressing simple or our own underlying problems or challenges that we have in the country. And this also opens a potential for new collaborations, as Dr. Veloz has shown you that there's this community of, there's a group of faculty that gathered together to express support, to express interest for new collaborations. And another example is that, for example, in the workshop in Coron, IBOM 2025, one of the participants in the UP Diliman workshop. So there were two workshops that were done, one in Diliman and one in Coron. So one of the participants in the Diliman workshop helped in facilitating the workshop in Coron. So that's just a matter of a week after the workshop in UP Diliman. So it's really good to see that the knowledge has been transferred and it's being used for transferring that knowledge further along the chain. And it's gonna it will really make a difference if this kind of collaboration continues. So now I will show you some of the workshop outputs. So this is just a list. So out of in UP Diliman, there were two groups that formed, but this is just one of them. One of the groups did not submit unfortunately was not able to submit the video, but this is one of them. And then for IBO 2025, there were three groups, and two groups were able to give a video. And then there were also selected posters from the IBOM 2025 event, and these are the titles. And I think this would interest Dr. Cuevas on mangroves, the first one. So I would say that that's the outcome of the project in the Philippines. It's been a wonderful experience for having the project supported, for Tomas to come there, give the workshop, see that there are these tens of students or participants of the workshop that were able to learn the complex systems thinking. Not that they're not knowing those, or not that they did not know about this beforehand. Some of them are working on chemical reaction network theory, for example, that are also in complex systems, but absorbing a different approach to modeling. And the excitement of the participants, for me, seeing the excitement of the participants to apply this new technique to problems that they're interested in was very, very interesting. So thank you so much. Again, without further ado, maybe we can go to lunch. we'll play the video.
Maybe just one video.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Because we have like 7 videos that will be probably 7 total.
Okay, yes. So
Yeah.
this is one of the
This
COT.
one?
Yeah, this is one of the COT.
Let me put it up. Which one we can show?
The bees.
The bees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Show this.
So you can appreciate a little bit of what they did. Just where is the window? Not this one. This one.
Yeah.
Which is the bee?
COT data.
Okay.
For value. We feed with plant of production. We have plants to produce seeds and we can use them in the plant. So then we part of ecosystem with absolutely one chemicals and actually for the plant population with finger environment but we're moving from pollinators to advancing software. So pollinators now can also support planting and ecosystem by sustaining from farms. They will be a resource for countless insects, from insects to larger animals. And when it comes to agriculture, so pollinators are vital, so they increase yields and improve the quality of crops to efficient pollination. So this directly contributes to food security and supports the economic stability of communities around the world. So in short, the importance of pollinators is far beyond just the plants they pollinate. So they are a key factor in sustaining life, ensuring food security, and promoting a stable global such as the small hospital, which is level. It's interests in and colonies of Bangkok. Overall, it's on parasitic attacks that are important. They will be on back families of people's using the liquid to avoid detection by this. Energy from root cells reminds us of eventually investors, which transport them to root cells for further production. Similarly, in small time beetles, is a major global threat to the beekeeping and agricultural industries. So female beetles prefer to lay eggs in rocks and crevices within hives, depositing a cluster of at least 30 eggs per day. These beetles also lay eggs on pollen and wood foam, and sometimes actually to cut the the seeds. So in short, recent is to investigate how the quality of the forage or area influences the survival of bee colonies in the presence of multiple pests.
In these new projects, we use the COP approach to analyze the interactive factors of these small animals, pests, in this figure, it's the forage area which their food, nectar, pollen plays a vital role in this growing of eggs, larvae, which grow adults as drones, workers, or guards. Drones made with responsible for the production of new and then have workers. The workers are responsible for the quality stores, like cleaning and which place important. While guards attack innovators. So here in this diagram, you see the selection, so small vehicles groups, while mines attack adults. Not in which that cooperative and these are mines, because these mines somewhat like use these details, or just to create or attach themselves into the details to get energy up. The right side are this set of reactions, represent dynamics, And we also analyze the case or scenario where we account for something which is best.
We divided the analysis into parts. The first part is the page. It is a case where there is no intervention, and we saw that pet populations can persist without external control. So you see on the graph, you see there the mice and the beetles which are the best identified in our scenario. We again looked at another scenario where intervention is put into the model, and we saw that the timing of the intervention plays a crucial role in determining the success of the population. And the findings indicate that control measures must be applied at early stages of the infestation in order to maximize the effectiveness of these controls. Intervening early prevents a rapid proliferation of the pests, which are the beetles and the mites, which could otherwise overrun the colony. And this is also underscored the necessity of timely and robust control strategies in order to ensure the sustainability of seeders of bee populations.
So this is one video, but we have many more. So now, thanks, Joeriggo. Maybe questions before? Any questions about the project or to any of us?
Well, my general idea is what they are doing is applying the formalism of CO2 to practical situations. But it might be good if we could develop something like a simple manual for making CO2 models, so that you wouldn't have to each and organize a workshop, but already could give people a manual and then use the workshop to immediately start building models. So I think that may be a way to spread the message more.
I'm
more involved.
I have a contract with the Springer to write a book. I should submit the first draft past December. So no, but I will. It's reaction network modeling of systems in general, with examples and more complex. And we are also developing the PyCOT a Python library, but also a website. It's about to be launched now. Like finally, we got the website running. It's in a server in Chile. So there will be this year. It's going to be the year where this is going to take shape finally into a book, into
would be a
course
where people can just enter the model and then
exactly
analyze it. That's what we want.
But for simple systems, because the computational capacity of the server is not that big, and we are trying to plug now that into a cluster. So when the network is too large, it could go and be computed in a cluster, because we have the hypercomputing center here, or in Chile we also have a cluster. But you need to do, it's a lot of, it's a product development. It's not just okay, here,
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. It takes time and you need grants and you need teams of people, but it's getting there. So I think within 2025, I think is when I witness the final, emergence of this thing to be usable for everyone.
One of the things that has always attracted me to COT is that the initial modeling is so easy that a child could, like say, a B plus of might leaves no V. B is built by a might. The control measure plus the might is no might, and you can immediately start playing with it. It's a way also to teach people to think in terms of network.
Yeah.
Because they can look at the individual processes, but then they start to see that the process goes interact, because the output of one process becomes the input of another process, but not just that one process, but also other processes. Then you get these branching things that may close in on themselves, and the software then can make it more concrete. I think it's a very good tool to make people think in terms of these complex dependencies, and the fact that in some cases it becomes a self-sustaining system. In other cases, it kind of collapses to a minimal system where there are no reasons left to speak.
Yeah. Well,
This would be great, but also that's like to do with background stuff, for example.
Yeah.
To make people kids, and then to actually make it to roll out a tool that kids all over the world could use to model like the ecosystems that they live around.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of cultivate systemic understanding from like a really young age. Amazing.
Yeah, that's the intention.
Do you know the platform Scratch for visual programming? You have the building blocks that you just drag and drop around the cards, and then you make these blocks have a specific function, and then that's how you teach the children to code.
Yeah.
That might be
There is a need for gamification of this and going further on that part. So that's why we have this systemic modeling group that is attracting some students little by little, and we have this project of growing it into something that will promote systems thinking and also develop it scientifically and so on. So if there are any questions from the online audience, we have -2 minutes to do it. Okay. So thanks, Joe. Thank you for. And now it's time for eating